Jackson and his dad are staying out in the yard, and his dad says, "There's not a cloud in the sky." And Jackson says, "Yeah, but it's a dark and sunny day." And his dad says, "You can't say that. That's two. They're the same exact. They're opposites. They can't be both at the same time." He says, "Yes, it can, Dad. Watch." So they look up, and an eclipse is about to start. So the moon is slowly getting in front of the sun, and there's a bunch of yelling around them, and there's a bunch of yelling saying, "Don't look in the sun. Don't look at the eclipse. You'll burn your eyes. You'll burn your eyes." So the eclipse happens. And when the eclipse happens, it goes and instead of going past the sun, it just stops. And it's been stopped for like 10 minutes now. And everybody's looking around, freaking out. What's going on? What's going on? Why is this happening? Like, isn't it supposed to move? Like, why is the moon not moving past the sun? Why is it stopping? So now it's a permanent dark day right now. They're going on 30 minutes, and it's still dark out. And it's midday. It's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So Jackson has an idea. He says, "Dad, I think today's the day. I think we need to do it today." His dad says, "What are you talking about? We need to get out of this prison. Like, we were wrongfully accused. We do not deserve to be in here. We need to figure out a way out. This is our time. It's dark out. Everybody's freaking out with the eclipse. This is our time to make a break. We can get out. I have a couple plans in mind, and there's a bunch of easy ways to do this. You see how lax the guards are? We were wrongly accused. We need to get out of this. This isn't fair to us. I'm over this. I'm not going to stay here. I'm only 18 years old. I'm not staying in prison the rest of my life. So I think today's the day." Jackson's dad says, "Son, I'm with you. What's the plan?"
Well, Dad, you know how I've been walking around the facility during our recreational time instead of playing basketball or lifting weights, even though you know I love to play basketball? His dad nodded his head. Well, I've been looking for weaknesses in the fence, preparing for a day just like today. Wow. An alarm sounded. Jackson and his dad looked at each other. They knew what that meant. That was the roundup alarm. The facility was going on lockdown. They had to hurry up and get this and get out, or they were going to lose their chance. So Jackson looked at his dad and said, "Come this way." And as they're walking, he said, "On the north side, I found a place in the fence that has 3 links broken. And I know that if you and I both tug on them, we can break it open and we'll run right for the forest because it's right by the trees. We'll be gone before they even notice." His dad said, "Jackson, are you sure that we need to do this? I mean, we do have an appeal for our case going on right now, and we could be getting out of here anytime soon. If we do something like this could ruin that." Jackson said, "I don't believe in that system, and now is the time." The alarm kept going. The chaos was ensuing. Jackson looked at his dad and said, "There, look, there it is." He pointed at the links in the fence. Jackson grabbed one side. He looked at his dad and said, "Dad, come on. It's now or never. We have to do this." Jackson's dad took a deep breath. He grabbed the other side. Jackson said, "All right, on 3, pull as hard as you can. 1, 2, 3.
"Keep pulling, Dad. We got this. We're going to get out of here, man. You just got to believe." His dad was like, "Dude, this fence is a lot stronger and it looks a lot stronger than it is." He was like, "No, just keep pulling, Dad. Ugh. Keep pulling. 1, 2, 3 at the same time. Ugh. This has to work, Dad. This has to work, Dad." Is all Jackson could say to his dad, because this is the only plan that they had. And this was the best opportunity to execute their plan. "Keep pulling, Dad. Keep pulling. We got this." His dad was like, "I don't think it's going to happen, Jackson. We got to figure something else out. We got to go to plan B." And Jackson was like, "There's no plan B, Dad. This is the only way that I figure we can get out." And as they turn around to survey the field, the lights pop on because it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon and the eclipse is lasting longer than it should be. And they see the spotlight and they look back and it's inmates fighting guards fighting inmates. And then they look a little closer and it's inmates stabbing guards shooting inmates. Wow, wow, ringing from the nest up top, from all the ones that are watching. Pow! Dad, keep pulling. We got this. Keep pulling. His dad was like, there's no way, son. There's no way. I've used everything I possibly can. This fence isn't budging. You know, maybe I'm too old. Maybe I'm just in over my head. And Jackson was like, Dad, I believe in you. Just keep pulling. We got this. And by that time, they hear it. Freeze! Put your hands up and get away from the gate. Jackson turns around first. And he says, Dad, I'm not going back to jail. I'm not staying here. There's no way. We're both innocent. You know it, and I know it. We're just wasting our lives away here. And his dad turns around and said, Jackson, just do what they say. Just put your hands up. And as they put their hands up, they see out of the corner of their eye inmate 282 running with a knife.
The guard sees inmate 282 out of the corner of his eye, but it's too late. The knife's already in his neck. Jackson and his dad stand there stunned. Inmate 282 says, it was either him or us. Jackson says, what do you mean us? It's like, I see what y'all are doing. Y'all trying to get out of here. I want in. I'll help y'all. Let's go. Jackson looks at his dad. His dad shrugs his shoulder. His dad goes, all right, let's do it. So they all three get on the fence. And they pull it, and then it just breaks. And they're able to squeeze through. And then they take off into the woods. When they get into the woods, Jackson turns to inmate 282. He's like, so what were you in for? He says, I was in for embezzlement. Embezzlement? What brought you to kill somebody? He's like, I can't stay in this place any longer. Things are turning on me. I can't do this. What are y'all in for? Oh, we were wrongly accused. We were accused of killing people, and we had nothing to do with it. We just showed up at the wrong place at the wrong time. So why are you escaping? He's like, I just can't be in here too long. I don't trust the system. It's just not for me. So as they're walking through the woods, all of a sudden they see something in the corner of their eye. It's a mob of Wolverines, and they jump and attack inmate 282, and he is gone. Jackson knows it, so him and his dad just take off sprinting, running. They hear inmate 282 screaming everything he can, help, 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 help. They can't do it. They know they're no match for the Wolverines. So they run, they jump across this river. They cross the river, and they turn around, they look at it, and Jackson goes to his dad, Dad, what's going on? He's like, what do you mean? He's like, the river's not moving. There's no flowing water. It's just standing still. This is a river. And there was a mob of Wolverines. Wolverines are solitary animals. They don't get together. What is going on? His dad looks up at the sky. I guarantee it has something to do with this eclipse.
Jackson couldn't help but wonder, how is my dad being so calm during this? We literally have an eclipse that is staying here for what has to have been at least an hour. So he decided to ask, Dad, how are you remaining so calm? Have you dealt with something like this before? Jackson's dad said, well, son, there's a lot of things about me that you don't know. But we don't have time for that right now. We're not out of the woods yet. Jackson thought to himself, he's not wrong. They took off running, not knowing exactly where they were going. They just knew they were heading north. As he was running, Jackson could only think of that Taylor Swift song. Are we out of the woods yet? Are we out of the woods yet? Are we out of the woods? It was just pumping in his head as he was running, one step at a time, not knowing exactly where they were going or what was going to happen to them. Neither one of them knew really where they were at. I mean, he tried his best to pay attention when they rode in, but all he could see was the surrounding forest. When all of a sudden, as fate would have it, a log cabin in the woods. Jackson looked at his dad and said, Dad, look, a log cabin right over there. Jackson's dad said, we got to be careful, son. You never know who's inside of there. Jackson and his dad creeped up slowly to the log cabin. They could see a window, and inside there was a fire burning, and an old man sitting at what seemed to be an old, dusty lazy boy. Jackson looked at his dad and said, Dad, should we try to go in there? Should we try to talk to him? Should we try to get food? By the time Jackson realized that his dad had already went to the door and was beginning to knock, they waited. And then the old man came, opened the door.
Yes, who's there? Jackson, be cool. I got this. Let me do the talking. He was like, yes, it's a couple of guys. We were just fishing at the stream a few minutes ago. We've been there for a couple of hours. We didn't catch anything. And we was on our way back to our car, but we can't quite find our car, and we're hungry and we're thirsty, and we've been walking around for what feels like hours. Is there any way that you can help us? The old guy behind the door says, yes, I can help you guys. It's fancy finding you guys out here knocking on my door. Yes, I'll open it. Click, 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 click. Tim opening the door. The door swings open. He's like, hi, my name's Dennis. How are you fellers? Jackson introduces himself, and his dad introduced himself, and then they walk in, and the old guy sits at his recliner, and Jackson and his dad sits down on the couch. And the guy in the recliner says, so what brings you guys here again? Jackson hurry ups and cuts him off, and he says, dude, it's been a really weird day today. Our friend was just attacked by some Wolverines. We probably need to get him some help. The whistles and sirens and stuff have been going off at the penitentiary. I don't know if you heard it out there. And strangely enough, there hadn't been any bugs making any type of noise today. And his father goes, maybe it's this eclipse that's lasting like a really long time. I don't get it. I don't understand that. And the old guy says, you know what? I thought it was something funny, but just to let you guys know, I've been in these woods for 19 years. And the reason why I've been here for 19 years is because my wife 19 years ago ran off with a fella and got pregnant. So I decided to move up here. But that's not even the weirdest thing. The weirdest thing is when you guys knocked on my door, I stumbled over there. And when I opened that door, I was able to see.
Jackson blurts out, what do you mean you can see? You were blind before? The old man says, yes, I've been blind for 15 years. Jackson says, what do you mean? How did you become blind? And his dad looks at him and says, that's probably not the right thing. He says, no. It's all right, the old man says. He says, 15 years ago, there was an eclipse. And you know how they always say, don't look at the eclipse. Well, I did, and I've been blind since then. And everything starts coming together. Jackson's like, there's got to be some of the eclipse because he went back out on another eclipse, and now he can see. And the old man says, well, the first thing I noticed when I could see was you had no fishing poles, and you're both in matching jumpsuits. So do y'all want to give me the true story or what's going on? And Dad looks at Jackson, and Jackson says, all right, we're going to come clean. Well, we have just escaped from the prison. Before you get all freaked out and everything, we're harmless. We're not trying to do any danger. We knocked on your door. We're not trying to do anything. We're just trying to get away. We were wrongly accused. We're just trying to get away. And then Jackson asks, well, how have you been living out here for so long if you've been blind for 15 years? He's like, honestly, I have no idea. My senses have gotten better with hearing and smelling, so I've been able to trap animals and stuff like that and know when they were dead. And just as he says that, there's a rustling in the bushes. And the old man says, I can hear something. Jackson, his dad, says, I don't hear anything. And all of a sudden, out of the corner of their eye, they see the mob of Wolverines coming through the woods.
Jackson and his dad started freaking out. They looked at the old man and said, we need to be quiet. We need to be quiet. There's a pack of Wolverines out there, and we just saw them kill one of our inmates. And they're rabid. And they probably could run in here and tear this whole house down. The old man looked at them puzzled. Why are you guys so worried about those there Wolverines? Jackson looked at his dad and looked at the old man. Did you not just hear what we said? We know that they're rabid. They killed another inmate that escaped with us. Ah, I see. Well, let me tell you something there, my friend. Those there Wolverines, those are my buddies. No need for you to worry about them long as you're in this house with me. How you think I ended up getting all this food to stay alive? Yep, I send my Wolverines out just about every night to go find me some food whenever I can't catch something in one of my traps. The old man walked to the door. He said, here, kitty, 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 kitty. All of a sudden, Jackson and his dad looked out the window and they could see the Wolverines piling towards the house. What in the actual hell was going on? They have an old man that was blind and couldn't see, but now he can again. And now Wolverines that are commanded by some old man in a house. Jackson knew this had to be a dream. He looked at his dad and said, "We've got to get out of here." His dad nodded in agreement. The old man said, "I don't reckon you guys heard me when I said that my senses were heightened. And I got one thing to let you know. You two aren't going anywhere."
See, Jackson, this is what you don't understand, feller, is I control these cats or these wolverines, but I can't help what they bring me back for dinner. So if you guys were to leave, I couldn't stop them from attacking you. And by the way, I don't know if you know this, but there's a bunch of people on their way here. I'm not sure if they're from the prison or just some other fellers like you that's just wandering around lying to people. And Jackson looks at his dad and was like, "Oh, dude, we're really trapped." And his dad was like, "I don't think so." And by this time, you see the Wolverines part, and then there's two Wolverines pulling what looks like a body, bloodied, eaten, battered, mauled, being pulled towards the house. And as they look closer, it's inmate 282. Is he breathing? Is he still alive? Is he dead? So Jackson's father asked Dennis, that's inmate 282. That's who we was talking about right there. And Dennis goes, "This is what I was telling you fellers. I can't control what they bring me back to eat. So if you guys run out there, you could be the next person that they jump on. So you guys really have to be careful. So you're not going anywhere. You just sit here and hang tight and they'll leave here shortly." And Jackson dad goes, I don't know how much time we have. He said there's somebody else in these woods. I wonder if they're going to attack them. So we should just sit here. Should we chill or should we just try it? We can run out of the back door and we'll be fine. What are you thinking, Jackson? We have to make a decision right now. And Dennis goes, "Well, whatever you fellers decide, you better figure it out real quick because there's a back door. They won't see you there, but you might run into those people that are coming up through the woods there."
Jackson says, "Okay, here's what we're going to do. Dennis, tell your Wolverines to go out back and go hunting. We're going to wait 10 or 15 minutes, and then I saw a big hill about half a mile away when we were running in here. So we're going to run to that. We're going to get lookout, and we're going to see what we need to do from there and see what is going on." So Dennis says, "Okay, hey, you can do what you want to do. I don't think you should do it. I think you should stay here, but I'm not going to hold you against your will. Do what you want to do." And Jackson looks out the window. He sees inmate 282 is dead. There's nothing he can do. So he looks over at Dennis and he says, "Dennis, are you actually going to eat him?" Dennis says, No, I'm not eating him. I didn't know they were bringing me humans and stuff. I just eat whatever they could brought me. I was blind. Now I can actually see. I'm not eating that. I'll go get something else. I'll go get something else now that I can see. I'm not a bad guy. I'm not doing that." So they're like, "Okay, here's what we're going to do. It's been about 17 minutes now, so I think we're good." So they take off out the front. They go across the river. And then there's that hill. They get on top of the hill, and they're scouting the situation. They see rustling in the woods. And they see something they didn't expect. They see the prisoners chasing the guards. But one thing neither one of them know is the mob of Wolverines is slowly stalking both groups of them. And Jackson doesn't know what to do. He's like, should we yell to them, watch out for the Wolverines? Would that give away our position? What should we do, Dad? Dad says, hey, the strongest, the fittest of the fittest survive. I say, let them do what they got to do. We need to get away from here. That gives us time to get away. At least we know we're not being chased as of right now. So I think we should just get out of here and let's go. So let's watch this for a second and then let's leave and let's go towards the north. All right? Ready? Let's go.
But then Jackson took a second to look closer. And then he noticed the prisoners didn't look normal. What was wrong with them? They were running really weirdly. This might explain why the prison guards were the ones running away. He bumped his dad and said, Dad, look at those prisoners. Do you notice something strange about them? His dad just started looking and, I mean, it's hard to tell from up here. You know my sight's not the same. Jackson said, Dad, they look like zombies. Jackson's dad said, Son, all right, you're getting ridiculous. Jackson said, no, I'm serious. Like, you should see the way they look and the way they're running. I've got to go back and tell Dennis. He's going to be trapped there. There's no way that he's going to be able to take this zombie horde by himself. I've watched The Walking Dead. Jackson's dad said, well, I'm staying here. I'm staying here to keep a lookout, and you go ahead and go do that foolishness if you want. So Jackson took off running back down the hill. He knew he had to get to Dennis because Dennis was going to be lost. He pulled back up into the log cabin and said, Dennis, where are you? He couldn't find Dennis anywhere. He started searching frantically around the house. Dennis! Quick, there's a zombie herd coming this way. You need to come with us. You don't need to stay here. About that time, he peeked into Dennis's bedroom, and he saw inmate 282. But no, he wasn't on the ground dead. He was hovering over Dennis's body.
And inmate 282 slowly turns, and he looks at Jackson. And Jackson surveys the room, trying to find anything dangerous or anything crazy that he can hit him with. What does he grab? He grabs the drawer. He swings it, and as he pulls it to swing it, things fly everywhere. It couldn't only be described as the miscellaneous drawer. There's scissors in there. There's a half-eaten Pop-Tart. There's an Xbox controller. There's 2 old cell phones, 3 dead batteries, and some broken headphones. Things fly everywhere. And as he come across the head of the zombie falls off what appears to be the body of Dennis. He kind of looks over the body, and as he looks over the body, the zombie comes to. Inmate 282, he comes to, and Dennis, he's looking at Dennis. He's looking for something else to grab to hit the zombie with. So what does he grab? He grabs the lamp off the table, smashes it across the zombie's head. The zombie goes down. And the zombie gets right back up, and he takes a pair of scissors that just flung out of the drawer, and he stabs the zombie in the side of the head. The zombie goes down and dies. He stands over Dennis, and he says, man, dang, are you okay? And just as he says that, Dennis coughs. And he says, come on, get up. We got to get out of here. And Dennis goes, what just happened? What just happened? I said, dude, we got to get out of here, man. You know, that was a damn zombie, dude. The whole world's going crazy. Have you never seen any damn zombie movie? Let's go. So they go to the door and they open the door. And as they open the door, they see the father running towards the house. And behind the father, there's inmates, there's police officers, and there's also zombies chasing them to the house. The father gets to the house and they close the door. And the father's breathing heavy and heavy and heavy. And Jackson says, who are we letting in?
You are now listening to the Cinnamon and Sugar Podcast featuring D'Angelo Williams and Gary Barnage. You push play and they'll push the limits.